Okay, folks, listen, you know what? I've done a lot of mac and cheeses, you know what I mean? But this one right here is a go-getter, right? So check this out. Today we're getting ready to do a 5-cheese mac and cheese. Let's get it. Okay, so look, as you guys can see, look, we got a few ingredients right here. As always, the full ingredient list is on my website, smokinandgrillinwithab.com, and that's WITAB.com, right? So I want to talk about this right here because this is, relevant to, the recipe. Listen, I take about 3 cups of my cheeses and I set them off to the side because that's gonna be our topping, right? We're gonna make a cheese sauce, and I promise you guys, this is gonna be what you want, you know what I mean, moving forward, not just a holiday recipe. All right, so look, first thing we get ready to do is take our pasta and we're gonna get that going, right? I'm gonna put a couple of pinches of kosher salt in here. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just add my pasta. Now I'm doing my mac and cheese a little different. I like these pasta shells. You know what I mean? You guys can do them traditional by using, the regular macaroni elbows. That's up to you. All right, so just to give a little bit of a recap. We're doing our pasta noodles. Oh, and you know what? Here's something that's key to say. Listen, we're not gonna do them al dente. We're gonna come underneath that a little bit. You know what I mean? So normally they say 10, 11 minutes or whatever. For me, I'm only going 8 minutes. All right, and then we at 425. Now it's time to go ahead and make that. Ooh, we getting ready to get down with that cheesy sauce. All right, so I start off with like a medium flame, right? Now, as the recipe says, you want to go ahead and get yourself 5 of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so as this is melting, right? Just bring this around. Let me check my heat, make sure. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to brown it. We just want to go ahead and let it melt, right? So while that's melting, I want to show you guys. You guys can use, when you can buy them in a jar like this, your minced garlic, or you can go with the cloves. And I have my press, right? But because somebody bought this by mistake, I'm gonna just say this again. We're gonna go ahead and put some of that in there. All right. All right, so for me, this has been about 8 minutes. Now, this pasta water right here, right? I got my little Pyrex cup. I'm gonna push this down right here. I wanna save myself, you only gonna need about a half a cup, but I like to be a little bit over. Now the pasta water, that's what's gonna help it stick to the, pasta, right? So we're gonna take this and we wanna stop this cooking, process, right? So we got all of that out. Got to turn on this cold water. And what we're doing is we're shocking it, right? So once it reaches a certain temperature, it no longer cooks. Remember, we didn't want to go to al dente. We wanted to go a little bit underneath it. So use your own judgment, what that is to you. You know what I mean? This is so that you can still have some integrity on your pasta shells. All right, so once this becomes fragrant, ain't nothing flagrant about this. You know what I mean? So now we want to just start adding our flour, right? Now the key to this is I add a little bit at a time, you know what I mean? I try to make sure I don't have any lumps, you know what I mean? And then I like to continue to, stir like what you see right here. All right, so now if you pre-measured everything out like I teach you guys how to do it, you just want to start adding this to it, right? So we just add them. And again, if you notice that I don't really never stop, stirring. All right. And then last but not least, but not in no particular order, when you add them in here, this is that pasta water, right? This right here is gonna help us, make everything adhere to the actual pasta. You know what I mean? So, all right, so you notice I brought the cheese up close to me, right? So, making that sauce. I don't know if you guys can see it, but look, you can see that it's starting to get thick. We don't want this to get too thick, right? So I'm gonna start adding a little cheese to it, a handful at a time, right? You want to keep that wrist moving with that whisk, you know what I mean? And let that, break down nice and slow, right? But you can see what I'm talking about. Now I'm finna adjust this fire down here. I'm like at a medium flame, you know what I mean? I don't like to see lumps when I make this, you know what I mean? So we just do it like this, like you see, all right? And this is pre-shredded by myself. You know, I told you guys it's better to to shred your own block of cheese so that it melts good. It doesn't have that waxy film on it when you buy it in the bag already pre-shredded. You know what I mean? So they do it like that so that all of that cheese that they shred don't stick together. But you see how now it's starting to come together, folks. Okay, so once you got your sauce in this right? Look, we finna come with that whipped cream cheese. Let me know down in the comment section below how many of you guys even knew about that. Did you know that was a thing? Now we add the rest of our, seasonings in here. And then once you get everything in here, now you want to whisk and get this to marry, right? Just like you see. Kind of like smooth, makes it a little bit more on the smooth side. You know what I mean? Oh, and not to mention that you put the seasoning in there, right? So now your spice is gonna work for you. So when you taste this, it's gonna be hot. And when I say hot, I mean like nice. All right, so if you look at my 13 by 9, I want you to take a look. Look how thick it is, or the depth of it. These right here, I love these. Now, what we're gonna do is we just gonna go ahead and not reintroduce. What we're getting ready to do now is just introduce our pasta shells, to our cheese sauce, right? Now we just work this around and look at that right there. Got to be more careful. Look at that right there. Now that's what I call a cheesy mac and cheese. Now, if you look at it, remember I said you want to do it, a little bit under the al dente time, right? You see how it keeps the shell size? See how they're not just opening up, laying flat? This is what you want, folks. That's up to y'all. If you want creamy, then this is it right here. Just the spices and everything measured out just, perfectly. And we got 5 cheese blend here. Come on. All right, so at this stage right here, if you guys look right here, I don't use everything, you know what I mean? Because it's up to you on your end whether you want to have all of that cheese in there. But I promise you, just use what you see that I use out of there, and this right here will be fire. Now, let me know down in the comment section below, what would you do? Would you use all that cheese? After you make it, you let me know. And don't forget, we got to keep some reserved, for the topping. Now, if you taste at this stage right here and you decide what it needs, right? We hadn't added no salt or no pepper to it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and give this 2 generous pinches of salt. And I'm gonna go ahead and give this a mix, I just wanna check the salt. If I can barely taste it, that's good for me. Some of you guys might need a little bit more, but I try to cook like on the low sodium side, right? So what you guys didn't see is I sprayed my 13 by 9 with a non-stick spray. Now you guys know what it is. Now it's time to just pour. Once you've done that, you can see my pepper on the top, right? So now you want to say, remember we reserved a little bit of cheese just to put on here as a topping, right? So I just get a little bit of a handful and work my way around it, right? Okay, so we got everything topped, as you can see, with that reserve, right? Now you put as much on here as you would like to, you know what I mean? You don't have to use it all if you want like a little bit of a lighter topping. Now, we finna go in the oven. We're already at 425. We're gonna do 10 minutes, right? After that timer goes off, then I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and we're gonna set it on broil. Here we go. Now I changed my setting on my oven, right, to broil. Remember, we going in for 5 minutes. Broil, look, it's gonna heat. The heating element inside is at the top. This is how we're gonna get that color, folks. Just 5 minutes. All right, everybody. So this is what we get when you hit the broil feature, right? See how that cheese on top? Look at that right there. All right, so if you guys come here, you can see it's still, hot and bubbling on the edges, right? But I want to show you this part. When you use that broil feature, look. You hear that right there? Woo-hoo. That's what everybody wants. All right, folks, so the only thing I didn't do with this right here, there's a little bit on a non-traditional side would be, I went ahead and used pasta shells, right? So just want to get you guys, some of y'all like skip right through it and be like, oh, what are those right there? So now I'm just gonna go in here, you know what I mean? And I hate to break this crust like this, but I'm gonna go ahead and just get this and you guys can see. When I tell you it's creamy, I want you to look down in there. Wait a minute, let me get this up like this. And let's just put a little bit in here, all right? So, you see that right there? Don't mess with me, folks. Okay, folks, check this out. You already know that the top right here, you can tell by the color that it's, you know, nice and crispy on the top, right? Now, I want you to take a look at these little cast iron, you know, little dishes I got right here. The reason I'm gonna call it a dish, because it's really a cast iron skillet, but they just like super small, great. I pull stuff out like this, like when I'm having company over or whatever, and obviously you can see, I remove some here, put some a little bit more cheese on the top, stick it back in there, and you can broil. This is an excellent presentation to put these out. If you guys are interested, and listen, I don't get nothing for this, because I done read a couple of comments, they say, hey, you be having a lot of stuff. Man, when I find a great bargain or find something like that, I try to share it with the world. You know what I mean? But I don't get nothing for that. But if you don't want to use these to, you know, put these out individually, you know, don't. But for those that do, I'll just put it out there, take a look, and have them for yourself. Now, with all that talking, I felt like I was doing a little rambling. What I'm gonna do now is I'm finna hit this, folks. Whew, look at that crust. Then when you break underneath the bottom of that, look at how creamy that is. Now I'm gonna let this cool off because I don't wanna ruin the rest of my week, you know, by burning my tongue. Cheers, y'all. Hey, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick because I'm finna get down. Like I said, for those that know me, know that I don't just eat anybody's mac and cheese, but when I make the mac and cheese, this is how I get down, and I will eat this. Matter of fact, I got some other trimmings and everything in the refrigerator. I'm finna heat them all up, and I'm finna go to town. Now, if you guys know anything that you would think that would add to this, and I'll tell you this, I say it every time I make, you know, mac and cheese, I would always add some cube ham to it, meaning I'll take a ham steak, cut it in strips, make some nice, you know, little squares out of them, and drop this in here with it too. Now, if you're new to my channel, let me take this time to say thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, smash that subscribe button, and tell everybody out there there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And is it me, folks, or am I tripping? Is the camera rising? Guess what? I'm out. Peace.